Okay, I don't know if anybody can hear me or not. It's been an evening of trying to marry technology with a 45-year-old guy. It's been a challenge, but I think we're up. I think we're live and running now. So um, yeah, this is kind of an impromptu video where I'm going to be doing a tier list of random horror movies here. Um, so hopefully you guys can see. So we've got these are the movies here. And then the categories are all time classic, very good, decent, not good, awful. And then have not seen, which there will be some of those for sure with the movies that are listed here. So, but yeah, this is just something I decided to do kind of on a whim. One, to try out my live streaming new screen recorder technology here. I've got OBS. Um, so it's the first time I've done a live stream with a tier maker, something on screen to record or live stream in this case. And then as well as the fact that where I'm living, it's rainy today, so not really much going on. So anyway, with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started with this thing here. Um, So I'm just going to go in the order in which they have them here. It looks like Saw 4 is up first. And I'm going to put. Eh, Saw 4 is not one of my favorites, but I'll put it in the decent category. It's not one of the worst, but to me, it's kind of where the series started to go downhill and become a little ridiculous for me in a way. So, yeah, decent for Saw 4. Then we've got. I haven't seen The Curse of La Llorona yet. We've got Nightmare on Elm Street 3. This is going to go in very good. Some people might put it in all-time classic, but for me, it's definitely one of the top two Nightmare on Elm Street films. I'm going to put it in the very good category. We've got The Fly, and this looks like the one from um, the remake, actually, from 1986. And I'm tempted to put this in all-time classic, but for now, I think I'll put it in very good. Um, we've got The Invisible Man. This is the one. I believe this is the one with. Is it Claude Rains? From like the 30s or the 40s, I believe. Um, I kind of feel like I need another category here, like all-time classic, very good. I feel like I should have good here. Um, so let's go ahead and on the fly here. Let's just do a good because that's where I'm gonna put this one because I don't think it's very good, especially for the time, but it's good for the time. It's better than decent. So there now I think I've got all time classic, very good, good, decent, not good, awful. Okay, I feel better about that now. Saw 5, probably my least favorite in the Saw series, if I'm being honest, or certainly one of them. So I'm going to put that in not good. It's not awful, technically, but it's not good in my opinion. This is where I really started to lose some interest in the series at this point. Um, Cabin in the Woods. Um, there's a lot of people that really love this film. I'm going to put it in I'll put it above Invisible Man. I'll put it in the good category, leading the way. I think it's a good horror comedy. Nothing really scares me about this movie, but it is very clever in a way. So it's a good horror movie. Wes Craven's New Nightmare. This one I'm going to put in the very good category. Although after these two, I really enjoy New Nightmare. I think it's a very smart, edgy kind of film, and I really like the look of Freddy to change it up, especially after the last Nightmare on Elm Street movie, which of course was Freddy's Dead, the final nightmare. So, and then we've got Shaun of the Dead. I'm gonna put that. That's gonna lead the way now for the good category because it's not a great movie. It's a zomcom, but I really enjoy it. I think it's a good zomcom. So let's see. Now we've got Nightmare on Elm Street 5. I'm gonna say this is a decent movie. I'm gonna put it ahead of Saw 4. I know a lot of people don't like this movie. It's their least favorite of the series, which I don't know how that can be when Freddy's Dead is still part of the series. But it certainly is it is definitely going downhill at this point with Nightmare on Elm Street 5. But I still have some fun with it. I think it's decent. You know, you still got Alice back from part 4. You know, Night of the Living Dead, the original. Now this has got to go. This is going to be our first all-time classic here. George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead from 1968. Yeah, this movie still gives me the creep. Something about that black and white and just the way the zombies move. I mean, there's not a lot of makeup or design there. Partly because it's black and white, but I don't know. They're still some of the most effective I feel like that I've seen in a zombie movie. And then we got the original Terrifier. Um, I'm gonna say this one is good. I'll put it at the front of good. Um, the sequel is better in my opinion. This one was very low budget, very gory, of course, but it doesn't. They didn't quite reach the pinnacle yet, like I think the sequel does. But it's still a good movie, especially when I'm in the mood for just a gore fest. Dead Zone, believe it or not, I have it, but I haven't seen it. Jennifer's Body. This might surprise some people. I'm gonna put it in the decent category, though leading the way. I've never been enamored with this film. It's fine. I could probably put it at the end of good, but I'm gonna put it at the front of decent, I think. Sorry, family member interrupting me there. Um, but it's a decent movie. I mean, I don't hate it or anything. It's not terrible. It's decent, like the category would suggest. I think that the two lead actresses, Amanda Seyfried and what's her name, Megan Fox. I think actually this is one of her better movies, which is a pretty low bar because I don't think she's a great actress, but I think they both do a good job, and there's some good stuff to it, some good kills and things. But I've just never been overly enamored with it like some other people. Um, Let the Right One In, I haven't seen yet. I have it in my collection. Evil Dead Rise, I actually just saw this. Um, this is hard. I think Evil Dead Rise, I'm going to put right behind the first Terrifier. I think this is a good horror movie. It's a good Evil Dead movie. Um, I'm almost tempted to put it in front of Terrifier because I do think it's a better made movie. Certainly a bigger budget, but Terrifier's is clearly spanned a franchise now and a character that's going to be unforgettable. So it is a good Evil Dead movie though. Halloween H2O. I'm gonna put this one as well in the good category behind Evil Dead Rise and Terrifier. This is a movie that I used to like a lot more than I do now. Um, I still think it's one of the better Halloween movies, probably. But, oops. Sorry, guys. I'm still working out the bugs here. I still think it's one of the better Halloween movies, but it's really dated too. I don't really like the mask or the performance of Michael Myers in this movie. I do really like the ending. This is where they should have ended the series. And I think it's Jamie Lee Curtis's best portrayal of the character of Laurie Strode, but it's a good Halloween movie. It's a good horror movie. Us, haven't seen. Friday the 13th Part 5. You know what? I'm going to put this at the back end of good. I think this movie gets way too much hate. Way too many people are hung up on the fact that Jason's not the killer. But if you watch the movie, you only know it like in one scene, and that's at the end when he's on mass. So I mean, you can watch this movie and cut that part out, and it's a Jason movie. And there's just a lot of quirky characters in this movie, a lot of nudity, a lot of kills. So yeah, it's going in the good category for me. Then we've got, which Saw is this? The Final Chapter or 3D? Uh, let's see. I'll put it in the decent category. This is not one of the better Saw movies, but it's actually not my least favorite of the series. So I think it's decent by this point, especially taking that into account. And then we've got the original Frankenstein, which for me this has to go an all-time classic. I will put it behind Night of the Living Dead, but it's an all-time classic Universal monster movie. When I think of Universal monster movies, this is the first one I think of, mostly because of Boris Karloff's performance as Frankenstein's monster, I think. And so, yeah, that's an all time classic. Scary Movie 3, haven't seen it. Child's Play 2. This is going to go up into very good. This is actually my favorite. This is my favorite Child's Play movie. Actually, I'm going to go there, I think, with it. Child's Play 2 is my favorite of the Child's Play franchise, so very good movie. Day of the Dead from 1985, the George A. Romero one. I'm gonna put this one. You know what? This is gonna go ahead of Terrifier. It's gonna lead the way for the good. This is a very good George A. Romero zombie movie, Day of the Dead from 1985. Then we have the original Saw. Not my favorite actually in the franchise, but it is good. I'm just trying to think where I want to put it on the good tier. I'll put it ahead of Evil Dead Rise. I'll go like that. Because it did spawn a franchise of what, like 10 films going on 11 now. And I'm sure more than that at the end of the day. But I have some issues with it. But yeah, the original Saw is a good horror movie. And then we've got Reanimator, one of the better zombie type movies in my opinion. I can't quite put it an all time classic, but I am going to put it third from the top of very good. I love Reanimator. Barbara Crampton, Stuart Gordon's Reanimator with Barbara Crampton and, the dude that's on the cover there. Why can't I think of his name? Oh, shoot. Just a second here. This is going to bug me. Sometimes I draw a blank on Jeffrey Combs. Oh man, I don't know why that was so difficult. Jeffrey Combs, Barbara Crampton, a lot of gore, a lot of fun to be had. Good stuff there. And then we've got the Twilight Zone, the movie, horror anthology. I think this is a good horror anthology. I've never been overly enamored with it because I think only half the stories are really good and the other half are just kind of meh. But I am going to put it right there in the middle, I think, right behind. Well, I'll put it right there ahead of Shaun of the Dead. But the Twilight Zone movie is good, but it's kind of weird to talk about that movie or praise it too much because of the accident that happened, and I just don't think the first half of the movie is as good as the second half. Although I really do like all the stuff with Dan Aykroyd and the prologue and the epilogue, or the nice little wrap up to it. So, The Conjuring, the first one, this has got to go high. I absolutely love this movie. In fact, I'm going to put it just above Reanimator. That's how much I like it. Not quite an all-time classic for me, but the first Conjuring movie from 2013 is definitely a standout horror movie. Then we've got Saw 3. I relatively like Saw 3 yet. I don't think I like it quite as much as the original, so... And I don't know. I think I'll put it right behind H2O. But in front of the Twilight Zone movie and Shaun of the Dead. But Saw 3, they still get it right yet. This is not quite as strong as the previous two, but it's close. And so I think Saw 3 is a good horror movie. Scary Movie 4, haven't seen it. And we've got Bride of Chucky. This is a lot of people's favorite, or one of their favorites. For me, it's just a good Child's Play movie. I will put it ahead of the Twilight Zone movie. I'll put it right in the middle there. But I've never been overly enamored with Bride of Chucky compared to the first three Child's Play movies, or even one later. Yeah, I don't know. I need to watch it again too. But Bride of Chucky, I do remember it being good. They introduced Tiffany, which was the franchise needed that at the time, sort of a fresh character to play alongside of Chucky. Of course, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre from '74, that has to go in all-time classic. Although I don't think I'm gonna put it. I think I'm gonna keep it right where it is in third. What can you say? This movie, the griminess of it, the it's almost like a documentary. It's just that's the creepiest part about it, and everybody thinks it's such a gory movie. I think because of the title, but actually, it's virtually a goreless movie, which I think is kind of funny. But it is an all-time classic. Halloween Ends. This is a tough one. I think I'm going to put it at the very back end of good, and I'm doing it mostly on its own. If I was going to rank this as part of the trilogy that they do, it would probably be decent at best, if not good, because it's not a good way to wrap up the trilogy. But as far as a movie onto itself, with the Corey Cunningham character, I actually do like this one more than some other people do. I think they just chose the wrong time to place it in the franchise. That's the biggest problem with Halloween Ends. Scary Movie 2 I haven't seen. Freddy versus Jason. Where do I want to put this one? I'm going to put it at... This is another good horror movie. I'm going to put it ahead of Halloween Ends, but no higher than this. Again, this is a movie that people either seem to love it or hate it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I'm kind of an anti-normie, I guess, in the sense that it's good. There's parts of it that I really like. There's other parts that I don't like at all. So we're going to put it in the good category. Halloween 5. To me, this might be a hot take. I don't think so, though. This is not a good Halloween movie, especially to follow up Part 4, which is one of the better ones in the franchise. It's not awful. I can't go that far because it's still got Danielle Harris, and Loomis in it, Donald Pleasance. Even though I think it's the worst version of Loomis, but still. But it's still not good. It's just not a good Halloween movie. It wasn't a good idea. It wasn't well directed, and they killed off one of the better characters in the franchise for one of the worst characters in the franchise. So yeah, Nun, I haven't seen it. Black Swan, I haven't seen it. The Haunting, I haven't seen it yet. Let's see, Friday the 13th, Part 3. This is one of the better ones, in my opinion. I'm actually going to put this... I'm going to put it right there in the good category, fourth from the top. I can't go very good with it, but it is a good Friday the 13th movie. The hell with the 3D. I don't care about that. I've never watched it in 3D, but I like the Final Girl. I like the Jason. So yeah. And then we get to the other end of the spectrum, and that's Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason takes a boat to Manhattan for 10 minutes at the end of the movie. This is awful. It's my least favorite Friday the 13th movie, actually, in the franchise. It's just boring. There's one good kill, maybe two, if you want to include the guitar. But I'm talking about the boxing kill, of course. But there's just way too much nonsense in that movie to have it any higher than that. The original Children of the Corn. I've never been a fan of the Children of the Corn movies. Now, this is the best one of the franchise, which isn't really saying much, as I'm going to lead off decent with it. This is a decent horror movie. It's badly outdated, though. The effects don't really hold up all that well, but it's decent. Here we go, Terrifier 2. This is going to go right up into very good, and I think... I'm not going to go above Reanimator, but I am going to go right there, right in the middle of very good. This film surprised me. I thought it was going to be kind of like the original Terrifier, but obviously had a much bigger budget. Much better acting and side characters, especially Laura Lavigne's character. Just brought so much more to the table, and Art the Clown is still great and terrifying. The original Final Destination movie. This has got to go in the very good category as well, right in the middle there next to Terrifier 2. I don't think it's well, maybe it is my favorite Final Destination. There are a lot of them are close, other than one, which I'll probably get to here. But the first Final Destination movie is a very good film and a very good idea. Seed of Chucky. Yeah, this is. I'm trying to think. This is awful, but which one is? Yeah, I'm still gonna put it ahead of. I think it is better than Friday the 13th Part 8, just because it's, even though it's way over the top and they reference too much current events and stuff like that. I still am not as bored by it. It's just not. It's just not a good Chucky movie, but it's still awful. And then we have Midsommar. This is a movie I've only seen once. I'm gonna put it in decent for now. I wasn't overly enamored with it. This might have been a movie that was a little too hyped up for me, honestly. Actually, I'll put it ahead of Saw. I mean, it's a very well-made movie, well acted, especially by I forget the main actress's name, Florence Pugh. That's what it is. She does a fabulous job. She's definitely the best part about the movie. But as far as the horror in broad daylight, I don't know, man. It's like I said when I reviewed it. I just don't think it's my flavor of vodka, so to speak. But it's decent. I'm putting it in decent because it is a well-made movie. It just didn't scare me. And then we have the original Creep Show, and this is gonna go all-time classic, maybe. For sure, it's not going. It's going at least right there at the minimum. Nah, I'm not gonna quite go all-time classic, but I am gonna go right here. Very good, at the top of very good. Frankly, the original Creep Show is awesome. Child's Play 3. This is a movie a lot of people don't like, and I don't really understand why. I will keep it at the back end of very good, but I really like Child's Play 3. It's not as good as 2, obviously. Um, but I still think it's in the vein of those first three movies. Really had an idea that I really liked, and then they kind of go off the rails a little bit after that. The Witch from 2015. This we're gonna go good, second from the top, right after Day of the Dead. I really enjoyed The Witch. I think it's a really good folk horror. And I like horror that's set in like an older time period once in a while. I think that's a nice change up. Anna Taylor Joy, her first main performance, and she's really good in the movie. So yeah, that's gonna go high on the good side. Believe it or not, I haven't seen the original Critters yet. What is this? It Comes at Night. I haven't seen. Wreck. I haven't seen. A lot of them I have in my collection, but I haven't gotten around to watching them yet. Halloween from 2018. I'm gonna say this is, again, this is another one of those movies that a lot of people really where do I want to put this? Do I like H2O or this one more? I think I'll put it ahead of H2O. Right in the middle, smack dab in the middle of good. I think it is a good Halloween and horror movie, but I'm not quite as high on it as some other people. I mean, I know people that have this as their second or third favorite of the franchise. It's not that good for me. It's good though. The Purge, haven't seen them. And then we've got It Chapter 1 here from 2017. And this is actually going to go in very good. Probably right there, I think. Yeah, I really like It for 2017, Chapter 1, whatever you want to call it. The first It remake film from 2017 with the kids. Just an excellent movie. It's still one of my favorite movies from the 2010s, frankly. The Lighthouse I haven't seen yet. Vertigo. That's interesting that's in here. More of a thriller maybe than a horror. Although I guess you could make the argument there are horror. It did scare me when I was a kid. I'll say that the parts up in the tower and stuff of that church. This is an well. I'm not going to put it in an all-time classic because this is a horror list, and I don't really consider Vertigo horror. But I mean, as a movie, it's an all-time classic. But as a horror movie, I'm going to put it on the back end of very good. I have a really good. Vertigo's a really good movie. Very complex with lots of layers to it. I saw The Devil, haven't seen. Of course, the original Hellraiser I have seen and reviewed. I think this is another one that's I'm going to put it in the very good category, although at the back end of very good. The original Hellraiser. Then we've got is this the Conjuring 2? Yep. This is going to go, where do I have? It's very close. I'm probably going to go like that. Just one spot or two spots back from the original Conjuring. The Conjuring and the Conjuring 2 are both like fantastic, like horror movies from the 2010s. And this is a really, really solid sequel to the original Conjuring movie. And if you ask me on the right day, I might have these flip flop, but they're both so close that I'm not sure it really matters all that much, if I'm being honest about it. So that's Conjuring 2. Ooh, Christine. This might surprise some people, but this is actually one of my favorite. Oh, where did it go? Oh, that's better than good. This is going in the very good to almost all-time classic for me. Um, I just love Christine. I don't know what it is about it. You would think a horror movie about a killer car would be kind of cheesy, over the top, and hard to get behind, but John Carpenter does such a great job with Stephen King's novel that he makes it work. Great performances, great music, just a great premise and great execution for Christine. Love that movie. We have the original Nightmare on Elm Street. You can probably guess where this is going. High, higher, highest. And actually, I'm actually, for my money, I'm actually gonna. This is gonna lead the way of the whole list so far. The original Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984. Just such a brilliant idea, such a brilliant premise for a horror movie. Having a boogeyman basically coming through kids' dreams of their parents who killed them in real life. It's just brilliant, and this first film is so iconic and so good. And it has to be an all-time classic, no question about it. The original, the first Insidious movie. Um, it's not an all-time classic, but I do think the first one is very good. It's just a matter of where I'm going to put it on the spectrum here. I think I'll probably go right there with it, right before New Nightmare, or right after The Fly and before New Nightmare. Yeah, it's, what can you say? The first Insidious movie is really, really good. I like it. We got Jason X, and many people might be expecting me to put it here. Some people might even expect me to put it here. No, I'm putting it here, and I'm actually going to put it ahead of. I won't put it ahead of Midsommar. I don't want too many people to get their nose bent. But look, Saw X is ridiculous. It's not a well-made movie, but it's the 10th movie with Jason. Well, ninth movie with Jason. The 10th Friday the 13th movie. He's already fought Carrie. He's gone to hell. He's gone to Manhattan or a boat. It was time for him to go to space. And to me, this is a Jason movie, and I have fun with it. I think you just can't take it seriously. That's the key to Jason X. So I think it's a decent horror movie. Not decently made. It's badly made, but it's a good time, so it's decent. Scary movie. Haven't seen it. The original Pet Cemetery I have, and this one is going to go. This is going to go in the very good for sure. I'm just trying to figure out where I want to. Actually, I'm going to put that ahead of. No, not ahead of Christine, but ahead of Terrifier 2, right in smack dab in the middle of very good. The original Pet Cemetery from 1989 is creepy as hell. The first time I watched it, it's one of the movies that did give me nightmares. Most horror movies don't. I might dream about a character or something from time to time, but as far as like a nightmare from it, this is the one. Zelda. Do I need to say more? And it's also very sad at certain points involving Miko Hughes' character. So yeah, what can you say about Pet Cemetery, the original? Now we've got Hellraiser 2 Hellbound, which I have seen. This one, I don't think it's quite as good as the original. It was a very ambitious movie, but I just don't think it was executed quite as well. but it is good. I'm gonna put it in the good category, probably right around here, after Twilight Zone, before Shaun of the Dead. Um, yeah, it's a good follow up, but it's not as good, and it's got a lot of problems. It's a lot more fantasy as they go into the um, what do you call it? I forget the name of that world that they end up in. Hell World? No, that's not right. Annabelle movies I haven't seen yet. Killer Clowns from Outer Space I haven't reviewed on my channel yet, but I have seen it, and this is a fun as hell movie. It's definitely got to go in the because of the cheesiness and the 80s-ness of it, and this has got to go in the. I won't go overboard. I'll put it there right after Hellraiser, but it's a very good horror movie in my opinion. House of Frankenstein, haven't seen it yet. That one, I don't know what it is, but I haven't seen it yet. Opera, I know I haven't seen it yet. Just trying to see if I can pick any. Yeah, Event Horizon, I haven't seen yet. Son of Frankenstein, I haven't seen yet. Eraserhead, I have, but I haven't seen yet. Scary Movie. And I'll just go ahead and grab this one to put up there. Okay. It Follows. This is another modern movie that people really blow their load over. I've only seen it once, granted, but I wasn't overly enamored with it. I thought it had some execution problems, though it is a very good premise, an idea, and a terrifying one at that. Um, I think I will probably I'll put it right there, kind of in the middle after H2O. It's a good horror movie. It's a very good, a better premise so than execution. But the main actress, Maika Monroe, is good in it. She does a good job. But I have other issues with the movie, but I need to rewatch it as well. We got the Friday the 13th remake here. Um, this is a very polarizing movie for people. A lot of people have this as one of their favorites of the franchise, which I don't quite understand, and some people have it as their um, least favorite of the franchise, which I also don't understand. To me, it's a good Friday the 13th movie. There's everything before the opening title is all time Friday the 13th great, and even after that, I like some of the characters like Jared Padalecki and Danielle Panabaker's characters. Unfortunately, I think Danielle Panabaker should have been the survivor in the end, but whatever. Derek Mears as Jason is very good. I kind of have some problems with what they did with Jason. I don't know. It just doesn't. Hashtag not my Jason. But it is a good Friday the 13th movie. I will say that. Don't Look Now, I have, but I haven't seen it yet. Ooh, The Shining. I wonder where this is going to go. If you've been following my channel, you probably won't be surprised that I put this at the top, ahead of Nightmare on Elm Street, The Shining. And what's funny about it is nothing like the book. I mean, Stephen King's book, which I also love, but it's very different. This movie I love just as much, though, for different reasons. And the performances are iconic. The dialogue is iconic. The scenes are iconic. Everything about this movie, the score, the look, the cinematography, it's damn near a perfect movie in my opinion. So yeah, Shining, leading the way of all-time classic. And then we've got Carrie, the original Carrie. It was directed by Brian De Palma. And of course, another Stephen King. I'm going to put Carrie in very good. Just trying to figure out where. I'll go right there with it, I think. I think the original Carrie from '76 is awesome. I mean, Sissy Spacek's performance, Brian De Palma's directing, the whole prom scene at the end when the shit hits the fan, classic stuff. The House on Haunted Hill remake, actually one of the first horror movies I ever owned, believe it or not. I think I got it around 2001 or something. I actually think this is a good remake. Now, I haven't seen the original yet, and I know a lot of people poo-poo this movie as being, there's some bad CGI and stuff in it, but I don't know. It's also got some pretty creepy parts in it to me. Um, I'm gonna put it right there. The House on Haunted Hill from 1999. I think it's good. Jeffrey Rush, Famke Janssen. You also got the dude from Saturday Night Live during that time, Chris Kattan. Um, Ali Larter, who I like as an actor. So yeah, I think that movie's good. No, now we've got An American Werewolf in London, and it's tempting. I think I'm going to put this in very good. Can't quite put it in all-time classic, but it's going to go. I'm going to put it right there. Oh, wait a minute. Christine, Pet Sematary. No, actually, I want to put it on the other side of Terrifier 2. I love Terrifier 2, don't get me wrong, but An American Werewolf in London is probably the best werewolf movie for my money. Just the tone of it, the music, everything. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Another movie that's really dogged by Halloween fans. And I actually think this is one of the better Halloween movies in my estimation. Um, in fact, well, no, I won't put it ahead of Carrie, but I will put it ahead of The Fly and Insidious. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch doesn't have Michael Myers. I don't care. I still love this as a Halloween horror movie. It's a very good idea. And you have Tom Atkins, for Pete's sake. I mean, how can you go wrong, really? You really can't. So, okay, now we've got. Oh, I think I've seen this movie before, the original Halloween, and you probably know where this is going. That's right. It's a decent horror movie. Just kidding. I am going to put it after Nightmare on Elm Street, though, the original. I just think that that was. Halloween, people don't talk about it enough, but Black Christmas from 1974 was kind of the trendsetter for slashers. And then Halloween sort of took it to the next step. And it's iconic, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love this movie. Obviously, it's an all time classic. But for me, The Shining and the original Nightmare on Elm Street are just a little bit more stuck in my headspace when it comes to horror. So. But yeah, Halloween, what can you say? John Carpenter's Halloween, the second best horror movie he's ever made. And you'll find out, well, maybe you won't find out with this list what the first one was. You might not. It doesn't look like it. But you can probably figure it out. The original Friday the 13th. I think this movie is good, but not on the high end of good. Well, yeah, I'll put it around here somewhere. The original Friday the 13th's legacy is better than what the actual movie is, in my opinion. It is a good Friday the 13th movie. However, it isn't even in my top five when I rank them. Or maybe it is number five. I can't exactly remember what the last ranking I did, but with what it led to, I think is more the legacy impact of it than anything. American Psycho is an interesting movie, very satirical. Um, Not a full blown horror movie, but it does have horror aspects to it. Um, where am I going to drop this? I can't put it ahead of Hellraiser. I'll put it right there. Very good movie, just behind or just in front of Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which is a very different movie than American Psycho. But Christian Bale, I think it's his best performance to date yet for me. Now we've got Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers, and this is a movie on the right day that I really like, and on some other days not as much. But it is. I am going to put it in the very good category. Um, do I like it more than Halloween 3? It depends on the day. Overall, I'm going to say no. I like Halloween 3 just a little bit better. And some of it is the fact that Michael Myers comes back and the way he's resurrected and everything. It's a little bit like Jason 6. Jason Lives. But that being said, obviously it's still a very good Halloween movie and a very good horror movie overall. It's got that 80s aesthetic, that Halloween atmosphere that you love. I love the opening credits of Halloween 4. Evil Dead 2. Now this is probably going to get me in trouble here. This is a good Evil Dead movie. It's my least favorite of the franchise, which if you saw my franchise review and ranking a few months ago, you know that. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said in my review, the combination of horror and comedy just doesn't work for me. I think they're better off. Like they have the movies surrounding this one. One is more horror, one is more comedy, and I both have them rated higher. So I just think they kind of missed the mark there a little bit. Saw 6. This is one of the better ones in the middle section, anyway, of the Saw franchise. Definitely not as good as Saw 3. I'm gonna put it. I'll put it right there. Saw 6 is definitely better than 4 and 5, in my opinion. And the final chapter, obviously. But Annabelle, I haven't seen any of those yet, nor have I seen Cloverfield. And believe it or not, I haven't seen Rosemary's Baby all the way through, so I really can't. Oh, Nosferatu I've seen. The Forever Purge. Haven't seen that Frankenstein or that Frankenstein. Okay. Nightmare on Elm Street 4. So let's see. Do I want to go good or decent with this one? And it's another one that it kind of depends on the day. I'll go good with it. I still have a good time with this movie. A lot of nostalgia for it, more than it being a good movie. Um, I'll put it right there. This is the point where Freddy's really starting to pull out the more of the one-liners than the scares in the franchise. But of the sillier ones, it's the best of them for sure. It's in my opinion, but still, it's the slide is starting here, but it hasn't fully gained speed downhill yet, like it would with the following couple. So it's good. The Hitcher from '86. This movie I love, and it's not an all-time classic. It's either going to be at the high end of good. You know what? I am going to lead off with The Hitcher. I don't think it's The Hitcher is the top of the good horror movie. I love highway horror, and this is one of the best of them. The original from 1986. Rutger Hauer and C. Thomas Howell really make this movie, in my opinion. And it's just there's just a lot of creepy stuff going on there. Land of the Dead, haven't seen it yet. Cult of Chucky, I have seen. The last movie in the franchise, even now they got the TV show. Cult of Chucky. I'm just trying to figure out where. I'll put it right. No, not before Jason X. You got to give me my Jason X, man. But I'm going to put it right there, right in the middle of decent. It's a decent Chucky movie, certainly one of the lesser ones of the franchise, in my opinion. Now we've got the original Halloween 2 from 1981, and this is going in the very good category. And I'm actually going to put it right there between the two Conjuring movies and Reanimator. I just think it's such a flawless transition from the original to this one. You literally could take the credits out of the end of the original and take the beginning credits out of this one and watch one long movie, and you really wouldn't notice a difference, frankly. Now, granted, this Halloween 2, after the first 20 minutes or so, it is more of a Friday the 13th slasher. It's a lot more gory, more kills. But I still think this is one of the best Halloween movies in that franchise for sure. I just think it's a phenomenal job the way they take off right from the original. I thought I already did the regular Insidious. Did I accidentally drop this down? I must have accidentally dropped that down. This is gonna go. My good and very good starting to get big here. I think I had this in. Did I have it in? No, I had it in very good, but not on the high end, I don't believe. No, I have it right there. Why is it there twice? Now, what the hell? No wonder. Here I thought I was losing my mind, and instead there. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Okay, there we are. Why do they have two of the same movie on these tier lists? I mean, it's stupid. Okay, well, I'm just going to drop this into haven't seen it then, just so to get it out of the way here. I'm screwing around with my tier list like that. Nosferatu. Now, I'm assuming that this is the 1920 one with what's his toes? I forget his name, but he's creepy as hell in it. I'm tempted to put this in the all-time classic, but I don't think I will. This is the silent Nosferatu, I'm assuming, from like 1921 or whatever it is. Where do we want to go here? I'll go around. I'll go right there. The original Nosferatu is very good for a silent movie. It's one of the best because it's just so creepy with nothing being said. It's actually creepier than if they were able to talk through it, if you ask me. Then we've got Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. And this is a lot of people's favorite in the franchise here. I think it's a very good Friday the 13th movie. In fact, I'm going to put it right there. It's a very good Friday the 13th movie. Jason Lives, where they decided to say gloves off. Let's just have fun with this franchise at this point, not take it seriously. And this movie started that, and they did a really good job with that one. Oh man, I still got a few movies to go. This is the original Child's Play, I believe. And let's see, Child's Play 2, of course, I have. Now, the original Child's Play is also going to go in very good, but it is going to go after the second one. I'll probably put it... I know it looks like I'm shitting on Terrifier 2. It started here and it's all the way... But I'm really not. These are all very good movies, but, you know, my list has to go some way. The original Child's Play, what can you say? I mean, it's a classic, but not an all-time classic for me, because in part because I like Child's Play 2 more. And in part, I just... it's more very good to me than all-time classic. That's just my opinion. However, Alien, Ridley Scott's Alien from 1979, this is going to go an all-time classic, though it is going to go at the end of it, for whatever that's worth. But the original Alien, what can you say? I mean, space horror, Sigourney Weaver at her best. The whole chest bursting scene at dinner. It's one of the great iconic classic scenes of any genre of movie. So, yeah. And now we've got the Slumber Party Massacre. The original from 1982, I believe. And I'm going to put this in the good category. I can't quite go that high with it. I'll go right here with it. It's fun. It's a fun slasher movie from the early 80s when there was a craze of slasher movies going on. A driller killer, basically. But yeah, I really have fun with the Slumber Party Massacre, the first one. Now we've got Jason Goes to Hell. Everybody's least, well, not everybody's maybe, but I think this is a decent movie. I actually do, and no, I'm not pulling a fast one on you. This Jason X is a better Jason movie. This is a better made Friday the 13th movie, but it's not a great Jason movie because Jason's not in the movie. However, at this point of the franchise, they had to do something different, and I'm behind them in that regard than just making another Jason movie. So I think Jason Goes to Hell is good. Not good, it's decent. Obviously, I have it in decent. There's a lot of things I like about it, things I don't like about it, like most people will talk about. But for me, it's a decent movie, a decent horror movie. More of a good horror movie than it is a good Friday the 13th movie, which is why it's indecent. Saw 2 is actually my favorite Saw movie, or at least one of them. I have the original. So this is going to go in very good. Saw 2. We'll stick her right there between Terrifier 2 and Final Destination. Yeah, I love Saw 2. I think it's everything Saw 1 is except better. They build on everything. The acting's better. You get Donnie Wahlberg's backstory with sort of a procedural mystery going on. Love it. Tremors, the first one, is the only one I've seen so far, even though I do have the series collection. From what I can remember, I haven't seen this movie in a long time. But this is a good horror movie. The original Tremors with Kevin Bacon and Michael Gross. I That's definitely due for a rewatch. I plan to watch the whole series at some point here and do a review for it on my channel. So um, they've got two of the Child's Play as well here. I see. You're next. Let's deal with that one first. This is probably my favorite home invasion movie. You know, a lot of people talk about The Strangers, the first one, but I actually like You're Next better, frankly. Um, and this is gonna go. Yeah, no, it ain't gonna go that high. Um, well, let's sandwich it right there between Final Destination and it. But Your Next is first of all, they bring Barbara Crampton out of retirement after many years, so that was good. A lot of very good gore, a great final girl, and a great setup and premise, really, where it's be careful, you know, you can't even trust your family, basically, should be the tagline for this movie. So, yeah, I love that movie. Now, I'm just going to leave this down here now because I've already done Child's Play. Halloween Kills, I haven't done, though. Halloween Kills, I think, is actually not as good as Halloween Ends. Now, a lot of people are going to like this one better because it's Michael going around uh, destroying people, but you also have the whole hospital backstory, which I really can't stand, and all the dialogue that goes with it. So I'm going to put these two at the bottom of the good. I don't think they're decent or awful or not good. Well, actually, you know what? Actually, Halloween Kill I do think is just decent. Because as much as I like seeing Michael pitchfork firefighters out of that burning house at the beginning, there's just too much I don't like about the movie. So I am going to put that one in decent. Sorry if you love that movie. Original Fly, haven't seen it. Purge Election Year, haven't seen it. The Invitation, haven't seen it. And then we've got Orphan, which I have seen and reviewed on my channel. And I really love this movie, frankly. Orphan's going to go in the very good category. I think it's one of the best child killer movies, maybe of all times, but certainly in the last 20 years. Um, I think I like it more than The Fly. I'll leave it right there, right in the smack dab in the middle of very good. Orphan. Isabel Furman's really good as a child actress in this movie. Of course, you have Vera Farmiga, who's always good in everything I've seen her in, especially in horror movies and stuff. So, yeah, I really like The Orphan, the first one. Still have to watch the second one yet. Now we've got House, the one from 1986 with William Katt and George Wendt, which actually I just saw them at a con last year, or earlier this year, I should say. I love the first House movie. It's so cheesy, it's so 80s, it's so fun. This is another one where I'm definitely due for a rewatch on it. I've only saw it, and that was like 3 years ago, so definitely got to get on that. Man, I gotta get cracking here. We're at almost an hour. Friday the 13th, Part 2. This is one of the better ones for me. One of the better Friday the 13th movies. I'm just trying to see. I don't think I've ranked any other. I'm gonna leave it in very good where it is. I obviously have the best final girl of the series in that movie, in my opinion. And now we've got the first Paranormal Activity, which is the only one that I've seen so far. I saw it last year. I think for what it is, found footage, and I think this is a very good movie. We'll go right there with it. Yeah, the first Paranormal Activity, I have to watch that franchise too and review it on my channel. But the first one is very good. Talk to Me, I haven't seen yet. Raw, I haven't seen yet. That House movie from the 70s, I haven't seen yet. Just looking to see which one of these I could knock out of here. Haven't seen that yet. What is that? Haven't seen Hereditary yet, believe it or not. Okay. Let's see, we've got the Blair Witch Project from 1999, and this is not an all time classic, but again, it's going to go in a very good category right there. I was one of those people that believed it was real when I first saw it, but even now when I watch it, knowing that it's not real, I still think there's something about the woods at night and being in the middle of the woods and being lost. It's just the most terrifying thing to me, not having any idea where you are and then being messed with too by this witch, this Blair Witch that you never see. And I actually think that that was the right way to do it, frankly. And now we have Jaws, and I wonder where I should put this. Yeah. Um, I'm going to put it right in smack dab in the middle of all time classics. The greatest summer blockbuster of all time. What the greatest shark movie of all time, and it's not even close. What else do I need to say? It Chapter 2 I actually haven't seen. Now, this must be the Suspiria remake, I'm guessing. Which I haven't seen. Let's see, do they have the other Suspiria on here? If not, I guess I could just make it the regular. Yeah, no, they do. So that's the remake. So I'm not going to touch that. Oh, Psycho. Looks like we're going to add another one to our all-time classic list here. And I'm going to put, this is going to go right there between Jaws and Night of the Living Dead. The original Psycho by Alfred Hitchcock. What can you say? It's all-time great. It really is, as it suggests there. Sorry, I just needed to check my equipment. Okay. um, Silence of the Lambs. Wow, there's so many good horror movies, guys. Man, there's just not enough time in the day, is there? Um, Silence of the Lambs, all-time classic. I'm not going to go that far, but I am going to put it, and it's more of a thriller than a horror movie, although I have no problem ranking this as a horror movie because, I mean, the Hannibal Lecter stuff and even the stuff with Buffalo Bill at the end and the dark basement and the green lights and Silence of the Lambs, I mean, it won an Academy Award for Pete's sake. That's why they won't call it a horror movie, though, because they don't want to give horror movies Academy Awards. So they call it a suspense thriller or something. But Silence of the Lambs is just short of all-time classic. It's a very, very good thriller slash horror movie. The original It from 1990, I'm going to put in the have not seen it yet, even though I had seen it, but I've seen it like 30. I probably saw it a few years after it came out on TV and was not paying attention to it. So to be fair, I'm going to say that I haven't seen it at this point. It's another one I have in my collection. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, the gay one. That's what people like to call it. Let's see. Do I like it more than New Nightmare? No, I don't. Um, I'm going to leave it back at the back of very good. I actually have warmed up to Nightmare on Elm Street 2 more so each time I watch it, even though I really don't like that they kind of, they broke the rule of Freddy in your dreams. But I think Mark Patton's performance, if it wasn't for Mark Patton's performance, this movie would rate a lot lower, frankly, for me. And I also think it's the darkest Freddy of the entire franchise, including the original. So that's where it's going to go. And hey, look at this. We've got another one that's going to go fairly high, I think, on my list. John Carpenter's The Thing, which actually is not the original. It's a remake from The Thing from Another World. This is John Carpenter's best movie, in my opinion. So, of course, no, I'm even going to put it ahead of Nightmare on Elm Street. I absolutely love The Thing from 1982. It's a 10 out of 10 movie, just like this one. Everything from the performances to the gore, the practical effects, I could eat them. I mean, it's just so brilliant. The paranoia, everything about it. The ending I even love. The ambiguousness of it. It's just a perfect movie, in my opinion. Now we've got the original Evil Dead, which, if you watched my franchise review, it's my favorite. I actually think I am going to put this an all-time classic, but it is going to go at the back end of it here. It is my favorite Evil Dead movie for sure. Not by a lot over the remake from 2013. That one is very, very good. But there's just something about the low budgetness of this. Kind of like when I was talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's just a grainy quality of this that really works for me, especially being in the 80s. So the original Evil Dead, all time classic for me. Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. One of the most complicated movies in that franchise for some reason. Um, well, I definitely like it more than Halloween Kills, even though it's got a lot of problems. I'm definitely not going to go any higher with good. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go high decent on it, just in front of Halloween Kills. It's a brutal Michael. I like George P. Wilbur's performance of Michael. I love The Mask more than the last previous two movies. The whole Cult of Thorn stuff. Don't get me started with that. Not seeing Donald Pleasance enough, and I'm talking about. I've never seen the director's version or the producer's cut. I'm just talking about the theatrical cut with this ranking. Now we've got Fright Night from 1985, and this is a movie that is definitely very good. Not quite all-time classic, but it might be. Well, I don't know if it's my favorite vampire movie, but it's close. Fright Night's going to go right up there in the corner of the first row of very good for now. Haven't seen. Oh no, wait, I'm in the wrong. Gremlins. This is going to be kind of a tough one because part of me wants to put it in all-time classic, but I don't know that I can. Yeah, I don't quite think it's all-time classic as a horror movie. As an 80s movie, it probably is for me. Um, we'll go right there with it. Gremlins. Very good, right smack dab in the middle. It's classic. What can you say about Gremlins? Ooh, The Ring from 2002. For the longest time, this is still one of the scariest movies to me. I don't care what anybody says. I know it's PG-13 and there's no gore or anything in it. I don't care, man. This is a movie I still would not want to fall asleep to and then have all the fuzz on the screen when I woke up by myself at night with the lights off. I'd shit my pants, frankly. So the original The Ring, the American remake, which I actually like more than Ring You. I don't know if I'm in the minority on that, but I think Gore Verbinski did a fabulous job, and Naomi Watts is fabulous in the movie as well, as is Samara, the actress. I think it's DeVay Chase who plays the young girl who's now a grown woman. Talk about making me feel old. But yeah, that's a scary ass movie. Insidious 3. Um, I think this is a good Insidious movie. I don't know where I want to put it. Oops, I'm in the very good. It's not quite very good for me. Where did I put? I think I put the original Insidious in very good. That fits well. Um, I am going to put this up though in front of Nightmare on Elm Street 4. Insidious 3, it's good. I mean, they went away from the family in this one, but they still managed to. The director of this movie was. Why can't I think of his name? Oh, shoot. All of a sudden, I'm drawing a blank again. He's the guy that wrote the first couple. James Wan directed them. Lee Winnell, that's who directed Insidious 3. And for a first time directing experience, he knocked it out of the park. He really did. Diabolique I have, but I haven't seen. And now we've got Insidious Chapter 2, which I do like a bit more. I don't know if I'll go right there with it. Insidious Chapter 2 I do like a little bit more than Insidious Chapter 3. But they're pretty close to each other. The Insidious franchise is another one that they've got some. There's only a. Well, I better save that before I say there's only one clunker. Okay, now we've got Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds here. We're getting towards the end, guys. I hope you're sticking with me on this. Of course, this live video will be up on my channel even if you're not. The Birds, I'm tempted to put an all-time classic, but I don't think I am going to. I think I am going to put it, though... Right there is a good spot for it. The original Birds by Alfred Hitchcock. It changed the way you look at birds as a completely innocent animal. Tippi Hedren gives a great performance. So does Rod Taylor. It's well directed by Hitchcock. The effects are even good for all the birds and stuff that they use. Yeah, it's a very good horror movie. Maximum Overdrive, haven't seen it. Cujo, I haven't seen enough of it for like 30 or 40 years, so I'm not going to count that one. Freddy's Dead, unfortunately, I have seen. And you can probably figure out where this one's going to go. Actually, I'm going to put it last. Freddy's Dead is the worst movie so far on this list. I would rather watch these two, and that's saying something because, like I said, this is a pretty boring. But I just hate what they did to the character in this movie. I just do. Okay, now we're really getting down to it. The Creep I haven't seen yet. The Wicker Man. I'm going to assume that this is the original from 1973. Good or very good? I think... Excuse me. I think I'm going to go with good. We'll knock it right there. It is very good folk horror, and especially the ending is very creepy. I remember it being kind of a long movie, though, so I don't know. The original Poltergeist from 1982. Now this one is tempting, because this is a movie I like more and more each time I see it. Oh boy, it really gets tough on this top row, I tell you what. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna leave it there. Poltergeist from 1982, between Steven Spielberg and Tobe Hooper. I mean, it's fabulous. It's one of the best paranormal horror movies to this day. Even though it's rated PG and there's not a lot of gore in it, it's still very effectively creepy. It's iconic. It's quotable. They're here. You know, I know that was a crappy imitation, but now we've got Insidious: The Red Door, and this is kind of where I said I got to pause on whether or not there's only one clunker in the franchise. I'll throw it a bone. It's a decent Insidious movie, but it's a big step down from the first three, in my opinion. I saw it at the theater last year, I think it was, or was it this year? I don't even remember now. I was kind of disappointed in it, if I'm being honest with you, though, but it's still a decent movie. Fresh, haven't seen it. The Nun I have, but I haven't seen it. Under the Skin, haven't seen it. Silent Hill I haven't seen. Good God. The Possession I haven't seen. Godzilla I haven't seen. Haven't seen Get Out yet. Predator I've seen, but I don't consider that a horror movie, so I'm not really going to rank it for these purposes here. The rest of these I think I'm okay on. Yeah. Okay, so now we're down to like the last 10 or 12. So Suspiria, the original. I've only seen this movie once, but I do remember quite enjoying it. Yeah, I'm going to stick in very good. I think Suspiria, the colors, just the color palette of this movie, as well as there's some really creepy scenes in it as well. I still think Argento's best movie, but it's close between that one and another one. Oh, good old Halloween Resurrection. Where are we going to stick you? We're going to stick you in awful, but you are going to get a spot ahead of Freddy. God, is he though? I keep thinking about the beginning of this movie and God. No, Freddy's Dead still pisses me off more. these are all awful. So I'm just going to leave Halloween Resurrection there. Hopefully I don't really need to explain that decision. The Descent. Now this movie's not going to go anywhere near awful. I actually think this is one of the best movies of the 2000s. Um, what happened to The Descent? Yeah, we're gonna go with that. I love this movie, man. It's you already got me when you get these characters down in these caves. Just from the claustrophobic standpoint, I'm already squealing, and that's even before you get to the whatever those creatures are under there. So it's just a very effective horror movie in every way that it can be. Friday the 13th Part 4. This is actually my favorite Friday the 13th movie. I'm actually even going to put it no, not ahead of there. I'm going to put it right there. These three run neck to neck, but I'm going to put the final chapter in the right at the top of very good after Dream Warriors. Love that movie. Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake from 2010. I do not love this movie. However, I don't hate it as much as some other people. But that being said, I can't. I am going to put it though. I think. No, I'm not going to put it ahead of Halloween 5, but I am going to put it ahead of Saw 5. It's just kind of a 2000s horror movie. It's Jackie Earl Haley does a good job, as most people said, as Freddy, but I don't like the look of Freddy. I don't like the demeanor of Freddy, the pedophileness of it. I think it was better when it was sort of under the surface in the original franchise. It's just they got the wrong tone for the movie. It's too dark, and you got a actress that plays Nancy that could give two shits less about this movie. She even admitted that. So, yeah, you're not going any higher than that. That's for sure. Oh, Misery. This is one of those movies I always kind of forget about until I see it, and it's like, oh God, Misery. I mean, what can you say about Misery? It literally has one of the best performances, certainly in horror suspense history, and Kathy Bates. It's a very simple story. It's kind of a one-setting story. But that being said, this is just a fantastic movie. I don't know if I like the book or the movie better. It's close. I'm going to stick it right snap. Well, yeah, that's fine. It's right smack dab in the middle of very good, the second line. I might like the book a little bit better, but it isn't by much. The movie's fabulous with Kathy Bates and James Caan. Now we have Sinister. And this movie I've only seen once, but I was quite blown away by it and how creepy it was. Though it's not a perfect movie, but it is a very good movie. And I'm gonna put it right. No, not in front of Suspiria. Don't be doing my Suspiria wrong now. But it is a very good movie, and it's another one that's due for a rewatch. Man, I need more hours in the day. Return of the Living Dead, maybe my favorite horror comedy, certainly one of them, top 3 to 5 for sure. I absolutely love Night of the Living Dead. This is going to go high on this. Actually, you know what? I'm even going to put this ahead of. Yeah, I am. I'm going to own it. I'm going to put it ahead of Creepshow. This movie is just so funny, but yet it's so 80s, so many good practical effects. Oh, I love this movie. Why is it not an all-time classic? Because I have a hard time putting a horror comedy as an all-time classic. I don't know. I guess that's probably just me. Curse of Chucky, probably the biggest surprise in a positive way for the franchise, because after Seed of Chucky, this franchise was pretty much dead. But they came back with Curse of Chucky and really does quite a fabulous job, in my opinion. I really like Curse of Chucky. It got back to the roots of the franchise, but yet it didn't ignore the previous movies either. It has a really nice twist towards the end there that I really liked. Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. I have seen this movie. It's not awful. I'm not even going to say it's not good. Am I going to say it's good or decent? Because it's not any higher than that. It is the lesser of the Conjuring movies. Like I have, obviously, I have Conjuring and Conjuring 2 way up on the first line there. I'm going to keep it in good. I still, because of these two, because of Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, they still do a good job to hold those characters in this franchise together with it. That being said, it's got a giant sized hole with James Wan missing. It just doesn't do the fantastic things that the first two Conjuring movies do. Dawn of the Dead from 1978, the original by George Romero. This is going to go in very good if I can. My clicker's starting to get as tired, I think, as my throat is. Where do I want to stick it here? We'll go right here with it. Dawn of the Dead, a very good horror movie, very good zombie movie. And then, of course, you have Dracula, which, believe it or not, I'm not going to put this an all-time classic, but I am going to put it. How far down the road do I want to go? I'm going to put it right there. It is a classic Universal monster movie, but it's not one of my favorites, actually. There's a lot of the movie, actually. I always think of the one scene where Bela Lugosi standing there as Dracula, but that's really not the majority of the movie. Is kind of boring, actually. 28 Days Later. This is going to go. This is going to go in my very good category. I know it's. You might as well. You're probably thinking, why don't you just put everything in very good the way you're going? I really like 28 Days Later. It's a modern take on the zombie franchise. Some people don't like the fast zombies. I think it sort of changes it up at a time that it needed to be changed up, and added something to the whole subgenre. So I think it's a very good movie. Ooh, The Fog, John Carpenter's third best directed movie. God, the guy's just legend, man. The Fog is. I'm tempted to put it up here, but I'm not going to. But I am going to put it right about. There. Yeah, The Fog is one of my favorite, just flat out horror movies of all time. Now we have the best remade horror movie of all time for my money. Well, technically, it's not a remake, though, is it? It's a reimagining. I got to remember that. Go away. Where do I want to put The Evil Dead 2013? This is going to be up high. It is going. I'm even going to put it ahead of Poltergeist. This movie, this might actually go higher the more I watch it. I've only seen it 1.5 times, and I just love this movie. The raining blood at the end, the body parts torn off, the gore. I love the story of how they go there. It actually makes more sense than the original Evil Dead movie, even though I do like that one more. This one is just a hair behind it. And then you got to talk about the performance of what's the main girl's name? The actress. Shoot, I gotta look it up. It's getting late, guys. I'm gonna be kicking myself when I see it. But for some reason I'm drawing blanks on names. Jane Levy, or Levy. I'm not sure if it's Levy or Levy, but Jane Levy, who's fast becoming one of my favorite horror actresses. I even heard a rumor that she's more open to coming back for another Evil Dead movie. God, let that be the case. I absolutely love her. She's also very good in Don't Breathe. The original Omen from 1976. This one, I think I am going to put this in, but it's going to be at the back end. Actually, nah, I'll leave that there. The Omen's going to be at the back end of all-time classic, but I do think the original is an all-time classic. Insidious: The Last Key. The fourth film. This was the one that I thought was more of a clunker, but then I forgot about the Red Door. it's again, it's a decent film. You could flip flop these two however you want. I'm not really crazy about either of them, if I'm being honest. But that being said, they're not awful. I could probably watch them. Um, okay, now we've got the original Candyman from 1992, and where did it go? Oh, um, Candyman has to go in the very good category, and fairly high because of its legacy and what it did for. Um, I mean, Tony Todd is brilliant. Virginia Madsen is brilliant. The concept is brilliant. How they tie it into social issues is brilliant, without hitting you over the head with it. I love the first Candyman. Now the rest of them, yeah, but that first one is all time. Night of the Creeps, another just fantastic '80s horror movie. How can anybody argue what the best decade of horror is at this point? I mean, there's just so many, man. No, I'm not going to go that high with it. The Fly keeps getting moved over. I feel bad for The Fly. Night of the Creeps is a very good horror movie, though, that I absolutely have fun with. It's so quotable. Thrill me. And of course, the famous line by Tom Atkins. I got good news and bad news for you girls. The good news is your dates are here. The bad news is they're dead. Friday the 13th, Part 7, Jason versus Carrie. And I'm not going to hold this one. The MPAA really messed this movie up more than anything. So I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to put it right about there on the good tier. Because even though I don't think it's a great movie, I do like Lar Park Lincoln as Tina. Kane Hodder's first performance as Jason. I think it's his best one. And you're still at Crystal Lake yet, but man, there's just so much editing and so many just about kills that they take out. God, fuck the MPAA. Okay, and then finally we have the original Scream here. I think everybody knows where this is probably going to go. I mean, just for legacy alone, what it's meant, it reinvented a subgenre and an entire subgenre. So, actually, I might put Scream ahead of The Omen just by one. We'll go with that. So, all-time classics from this list: The Shining, The Thing, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Jaws, Psycho, Night of the Living Dead, Frankenstein, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Alien, Evil Dead, Scream, The Omen. And no, I'm not going to read all these other ones off. You can see for yourself where I have them placed here. Only 3 not good that aren't awful. That's interesting. And then I have 4 awful. And then a bunch of decent. And then a bunch that I haven't seen yet. So I got to get on that. So with that being said, this video's gone almost an hour and a half here. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. But I do hope you guys enjoyed this first tier list ranking video that I did with my my new equipment here, my new software, I should say. Oh, is it OBS or OSB? I always have to look. OBS. But anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. But I see a lot of comments here. That's good. Don't care for much merit. Yeah. Friday the 13th, fun and 3D Seed is the least favorite. Yeah. All the rec films are fun. That's what I've heard. 2018's Decent Kills was great. Ends terrible. Love Christine way up on the top. Yeah. Pet Sematary was good. But see, I haven't seen 2, so you might be right about that. I've heard people that love it and people that don't. Almost all the films here so far I own, but I need to revisit. Yeah, you and me both. Halloween 3 has gained a huge following. Yes, I'm one of a trillion who love The Nightmare 2010. Oh, that's good. Like I said, I think it gets way more hate than it deserves, even though I don't love it. Yo, I'm really late. Did I miss? Well, this video will be up on my channel, so you can watch the whole thing. Friday the 13th Above Evil Dead 2 is outrageous. Yeah, like I said, Evil Dead 2, what can I say? It's my least favorite of that franchise, but I still like it. I think that Friday the 13th has more of a legacy. Bride of Chucky and Hellraiser 2 also, I think, are masterpieces. that's that's why it's great that we all have opinions. Scream is decent, nothing more, nothing less. No, again, there's other people that share that opinion. He's just finishing up with the ranking. Okay, so yeah, thanks for sticking with me, guys. Though, as I try to work my way through the new software that I'm using for these live stream videos. But I want to do a whole bunch of these tier list rankings. There's all kinds of good ones out there. So this is the first of many that you'll see. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for watching and hope everybody has a good night and a good weekend. And as always, stay scared. Bye.